Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. I hope that you guys had a wonderful end to the 2024 year, and I hope that this is a great year for you now that in 2025. We are back. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll, and I'm just a guy that likes to BS at work. It is mock draft time again. This is probably the last quote unquote way too early mock draft. Uh, with the end of the regular season for the NFL regular season coming to an end, we're going to do this one. And the next time we meet to do one of these, both the college and NFL season will be over. So it will be officially mock draft season. So we're going to get started. We're just going to do a one rounder today. It got real interesting in that top five the last couple of weeks of the season. Um, I kind of liked where it was last week because it was a lot more interesting in what can happen. It's still a little interesting at the top, but we'll get into it. Let's get started. All right. So the Titans have the number one pick in the draft. Um, there's a couple things they could do here. They could take Travis Hunter. They could take Shador Sanders. I think they should take Shador. The question that we're gonna have to keep doing is Dion made it clear that he's gonna you know, kind of facilitate which teams can and cannot draft Shador and Travis. I don't know if Tennessee would be a team he wouldn't want Shador on. Right now, they do have an offensive of minded coach, which is a plus, but they don't really have receivers. Tennessee's not the greatest market in the world, so if it's about boosting Shador's brand and things of that nature, the Titans aren't necessarily one of those teams. Um, the Giants are sitting here at three. To me, I thought the two teams that he would for sure green light are New York and Vegas, and I figured Vegas was always going to be the team because of Tom Brady. But as you see, Vegas is all the way down to six. I don't know if they would want to drop all the way down to six. I know they don't. It's weird. They don't need the money, but if you know anything about Dion, you know, he's big on the money. So I don't know if they would want him to drop all the way to six. I don't know if they would try to get the Raiders to move up to get him. To me, I also think that's silly if you want a team to if you want to go to a team, I'd rather drop to the team than have them trade up to go get you because now they're losing assets to build a team around you, right? You want to go to a team that has the best possible position to make you look good. Um, so what we're gonna do, I say all that to say, what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip-flop every time we do this mock draft because I think if they want a quarterback, Shador's the one that fits the system better than Cam Ward does. So I'm gonna have them go ahead and take Shador here. In this mock, we're gonna pretend as if the Titans are a team that the Sanders family would be okay with Shador going to. We're gonna go ahead and take Shador for the Titans. Um, and now if you're the Browns, I gotta be honest with you, dude. Again, I think what we will do is kind of flip-flop on this or mix and match what the Browns do. I know Deshaun Watson kind of restructured his contract, and they're kind of stuck with him for the next 2 years. But with that being said, Cam Ward is one of those guys you might want him to sit for a year or two anyway. And if you're the Browns, because you have a Deshaun Watson, because you have a Myles Garrett, because you have a Judy, because you have that defense, because you have a coach in Kevin Stefanski, you're not hoping that you're in the top three anytime soon again. So does it behoove you to take Cam Ward here and let him sit, let him develop so that when Deshaun Watson's contract is up and you can can get rid of him easier, you already have your heir apparent. As opposed to saying, well, we can't get rid of Deshaun Watson, so let's just use this time to build around Deshaun Watson and we'll figure out a quarterback later. Um, Again, for this initial mock, I'm just gonna say they go ahead and take Cam Ward and go from there. And then, like I said, when we start doing these more like every week, or at least more frequently as we get closer to the draft, we could play around with a couple more scenarios. But right now, I'm gonna have them take Cam Ward because I think it makes the most sense. Again, if you're a team in the top two and you need a quarterback, which the Titans do, which the Browns do, you take quarterback. That's just what you do. Um, and you go from there. All right, if you are the Giants, do you take Travis Hunter? Do you take a Will Johnson? Do you take a Mason Graham? To me, Mason Graham's the best player on the board, and putting him next to Sexy Dexy and that defensive line would be a monster. Here's the only issue I have with that for the Giants specifically. This is a team that has so many needs still. Defensive line is not one of them. They already have a really good defensive line. And if they really wanted to, this is still a really good defensive interior class that they can address it later if they want to just, add some more firepower to that defensive line. Like if Charles was doing this, if you remember, I had Charles do a mock draft for the Giants a couple years ago, and this fool took nothing but defensive linemen the entire like three or four, five picks for defensive linemen. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Um, so if it's Charles here, he's probably pounding the table for Mason Graham. I just don't think it makes sense to me. Yes, that defensive line could be unstoppable, right? But when you have so many needs, and that's probably the one part of your team that you feel good about is your defensive line, I wouldn't mess with it. I mean, I wouldn't waste a top three pick adding to that, right? You want to fix some of your other needs. And so I think Will Johnson makes a lot of sense here. Travis Hunter makes a lot of sense. He could play corner for them. Uh was it DeAndre Baker? Is that his name? He's kind of fallen off. He had like a promising rookie season, but he hasn't really done much since. Andrew Phillips looks good, but he's in the slot. They need some help in the secondary. So Travis Hunter or Will Johnson makes a lot of sense here. Um, and then you could also play Travis Hunter at receiver a little bit, which will help your offense. I wouldn't go tackle here. I think it's too early for them to go tackle. Yeah, I think you could go McMillan. That would be an interesting concept. Let's say they brought in a veteran like a Jameis Winston or a Sam Darnold or whatever. They could say, you know what? Let's get Tedero McMillan and just finally have an explosive offense. Because Malik Neighbors had a great rookie season. Tyrone Tracy had a great rookie year as a running back. And that was with probably the worst quarterback room in the entire football, in the National Football League. So you could sit there and say, let's get Tedero McMillan. But I think you go Will Johnson. It's not this sexy pick. Travis Hunter or Tedero McMillan will be the sexy pick. But I think Will Johnson makes the most sense. Get that defensive back room in tip-top shape. Because again, you already have a great defensive line. Now imagine if you could cover on the back end. Now you at least have a really, really, really solid foundation for your defense. And, there's receivers you could take in the second or third round. There's tackles you could take in the second, third round. I believe they have the third pick in the first round, the second pick in the second round, and the first pick in the third round. So you could take a quarterback later as well. I'm actually gonna take Will Johnson here. Um, I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, if you're the Patriots, I think you go ahead and take Travis Hunter, a guy you probably would have taken with the number one pick overall anyway. Um, you could go Tedero McMillan. You could definitely go Tedero McMillan if you wanted to. Uh, Again, it's still a little too early for the tackles in my opinion, only because most of these tackles are projected to be more like guards at the NFL level. So taking a guard at four just doesn't make sense. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take Travis Hunter here for the Patriots. If you are The Jaguars. Um, now do you say tackle? They need both a guard and a tackle. So if a Kelvin Banks is here, you can take him and just hope he could play tackle. And if not, he could play guard for you. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. Let me just see who else is here. Uh, McMillan kind of makes sense too, in my opinion. If you want an explosive offense, you want to unlock Trevor Lawrence a little bit better. Brian Thomas Jr. had a great year. Christian Kirk might leave in the offseason. You put these two guys together, that could be a very lethal offense. But again, there's other receivers. I think you need to protect Trevor Lawrence. I'm gonna go Kelvin Banks here. Okay, the Raiders. The Raiders, a lot of people have them taking Ashton Genty. I could see them doing that. I could see them taking Tedero McMillan. Um, I could see him taking Abdul Carter. I could see him taking Mason Graham. Uh, I'm going to assume they're going to take a quarterback either in the second round or trade back up into the first round. And because of that, let's get them, let's make this offense explosive, right? Let's make this offense super explosive for whoever the quarterback is. And so I'm going to go ahead and take Tedero McMillan here. Brock Bowers has been amazing for them. And you get Tedero McMillan to help on the outside. Now you're cooking. It's a great running back draft class. You can get another running back in a later round. And then, like I said, if they get a quarterback, whether it be a veteran or whether it be a young guy, you at least know you got this person's coming into some weapons, right? Okay. The Jets are interesting. The Jets are interesting. They could also go Mason Graham here. They could definitely go Mason Graham here. They could they could go Ben Morrison here. You know what? This is trades. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and trade down a little bit so that they can get a corner or a little bit better value. So we're gonna have uh we're gonna have the Cowboys move up uh and give up 148 and a future third to move up. It might be a little rich, but they don't want to give up their third round this year. Um, and that kind of doubles up in this spot for the Jets, so that works. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna have them move up to get Ashton Genty. Where did he go? Yeah, Ashton Genty. Boom. All right. For the Panthers, I really love the idea of Mason Graham to the Panthers for the exact opposite reason for the Giants, right? I think this team needs to find an identity on their defense and make something a strength. And their defensive line could be that because when they have Derek Brown, and if you put Mason Graham next to Derek Brown, now you have a really good solid foundation to start that line. And you can get edge rushers in the second and third round and just have a completely new revamped defensive line. Um, if Will Johnson was here, I would think about that. Abdul Carter is obviously somebody you got to think about. He's obviously somebody you got to think about because they need edge help. I just, I just like the depth of the edge class, and I think the drop off between Mason Graham and whoever you're gonna get. Because remember, they don't have their own second round pick. They have the Rams second round pick, which right now is in like the 50s. There could be a huge run on defensive interior. And so to me, the edge you get in the second round might be a lot better than the edge, I mean, than the defensive lineman you get in the second round. So I really like Mason Graham here and just creating an amazing defensive line, and we can get the edge rushers later. Um, so I'm going to do that. And the Panthers are another team, just so it's not the same pick every time, even though that would be my dream pick. We'll bounce back and forth. Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, some if there'll probably be scenarios where both of them are gone, so then we'll figure out what to do if that happens. But I really like the Mason Graham play there. Um, and yeah, okay. If you are the Saints, uh, you're a little bit bummed because you were hoping Mason Graham would fall to you. Kenneth Grant is here. That might be a little too steep. Abdul Carter is here. You can do that. That's probably what they should do. Probably best available player. Um, yeah, I might do Abdul Carter here for the Saints. Yeah, they need help all throughout the defensive line. So let's just go ahead and do Abdul Carter here. Yeah, if you're the Saints, you kind of want this to play out the way it plays out every time because you'll be sitting here at nine, and whoever the Panthers don't take, you take. But again, we'll figure out other scenarios as we continue to do this as we get closer. If you're the Bears, they gotta protect uh Caleb Williams. I'm gonna take Josh Simmons here. Um, again, a guy that might have to go to guard, but I think he could probably play tackle at the next level. Either way, I think he's gonna be really good for them. They have to fix that offensive line and help Caleb Williams, and that's the best pick to do it. Okay, the Niners. The Niners here, what do they want to do? I think if you're the Niners, you go and take best player available, which could be Malachi Starks, which could be a joker piece for them on the back end of that defense, which would be really nice to have. Uh, I don't mind Nick Scorton. I don't mind Jalen Walker if they want to use him as more of like a blitzing linebacker or Mikael Williams. Uh, there's a lot of places they could go here. I think mm, maybe, yeah, I think I'm gonna do Ursary here. Give get them some help in that offensive line so they can start moving people again and have that. Because one thing we've learned about this great Shanahan offense, if it's not working like at 100% efficiency, it goes from the most unstoppable offense in the league to one of the worst offenses in the league. So they need everything clicking, and that starts with the offensive line. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, the Jets, it's worked out for you because you moved back and Benjamin Morrison is still here and you get your guy um in that trade back. Uh Will Campbell will be going to the Dolphins and I know a lot of people do Malachi starts to the Colts. I know it's like a cliche pick. If they don't do that, they usually do one of the tight ends. Colts are just weird. Jalen Walker's here. Do you like Jalen Walker as a I like the safety class, so I'm cool with passing on Malachi Starks for the Colts. The tight end class is not bad, but the problem is if you really want a tight end, I think you should take Loveland or Warren, whatever, whichever one you like better. Uh, but like I said, I think every mock draft has them taking either Malachi Starks or one of the tight ends. So let's switch it up. Let's go Jalen Walker, which kind of screws over the Falcons because they would have loved to get Jalen Walker. Um, but Nick Scorton is still here, and so is Mikael Williams. Uh, I'm gonna go. I feel like I always go Mikael Williams because the whole Georgia thing. I'm gonna just switch it up and go Nick Scorton for the Falcons. Okay. Uh, for the Cardinals, Malachi Starks would be interesting. I just think with the Isaiah Simmons experiment, I think there'll probably be people in that Arizona uh organization that still have PTSD from that. So I don't think they're gonna do that. Um. Kyler Murray's been running for his life the last couple of weeks. So Wyatt Milan makes a lot of sense too, or Cameron Williams. Kenneth Grant is still here too. It might be a little early for him though, but mm, Walter Nolan makes sense. Here, you know what? Let me do it like this. Norman Lott has been getting a lot of buzz lately. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. I'm gonna ignore this wide receiver thing. We've been hearing rumors that T. Higgins is probably gonna come back, so that sucks for me as a Steelers fan. But not only did I not want him to come back to the Bengals, I wanted the Steelers to just throw whatever bag they could to get him. So we're gonna go defensive line here. They, I think Tyleik Williams makes sense. They probably got a lot of film on him. Obviously from Ohio State. Dion Walker, they would have a lot of film on too, by the way, going to Kentucky. Um, but I think we'll go with Tyleik Williams here for the Bengals. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I kind of like, where's my man's name? Where is he at? Wow, why did they drop him so far? I kind of like Josh Connolly to them, and I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I don't know why they dropped Connolly so far down. The Texans, I think they also really would want to fix that offensive line, but they could use receiver too. I'm gonna give them Luther Burden actually. Or actually, you know what? We'll go Emeka Egbuka for the CJ Stroud connection. We'll do that. Okay, both tight ends are on the board here, so I feel like I should give. They could go back to back. They could go back to back, and I kind of like that idea of them going back to back. So let's do that. Let's do Colston Loveland to the Buccaneers, and then we'll do Tyler Warren to the Broncos here. Because I think I usually do the Luther Burden one to the Broncos, so just switch it up a little bit. Okay, The Steelers, this 100%. Malachi Starks is still on the board. Now that we're picking at 22, Malachi Starks being here changes a lot because he's not going to be there by 25. This is a really good defensive interior class. We could get a defensive interior in the second round. Some of the corners are still here too. So for me, yeah, Darian Porter's still here. Siobhan Rivera, Trey Amos is still here. For me, I want I wanted us to throw a bag at T. Higgins so that we didn't have to go receiver because then we can go defensive interior, corner, safety, top three rounds. Doesn't have to be in that order. It'll be best of player available. Right now, Malachi Starks is the best player available. But at the same time, safety, like first, safety is not like the biggest need. If we're gonna do this, it should be corner or defensive interior. I wanted Tyleik Williams, to be honest with you, but I wasn't gonna have him just drop to us just for the sake of dropping to us. Oh boy. Walter Nolan's still here. I like Darian Porter's been getting up 6'4", 200. Big physical corner. I think that's the pick I want. TJ Sanders makes a lot of sense for what we want to do. Siobhan Ravel as well makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think what you want to do is get between corner and defensive tackle, which one makes the most sense? 6'3". I'm gonna go ahead and take Siobhan Ravel. Again, this is only because I'm not as sold on the second round corners. I know we can get a good defensive interior in the second round. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the corner. Safety, there's a handful of safeties I like, but the problem is they're not the biggest needs. So you probably gotta wait till the third round. And by the third round, will they still be there? I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Siobhan Ravel. All right. LA is now on the clock. I feel like I gotta get Malachi Starks drafted. I feel like I need to get Malachi Starks drafted. But then again, we've seen safeties kind of fall before. It happens. Okay, if you are the Rams, I think I usually get an offensive lineman for them, and I think I'll do the same thing here. Although there's still some good corners. There's still some good corners. Trey Amos is still on the board. Darian Porter is still on the board. Jade Barron's kind of more of a slot guy. I'm gonna go Trey Amos for the Rams. And then I'm gonna go Kenneth Grant for the Packers because I know the Chargers want a defensive interior, and they might be a little bummed that Kenneth Grant just got taken. Shamar Stewart is still here. I'm gonna do like this. Let's trade back with the Eagles. It's only three picks. It's not gonna cost you nothing. It's gonna cost you like that. It might even cost you this. Yeah, let's do it. For Cameron Williams. Jumping in front of the Commanders who would have loved to have taken another offensive lineman. Uh Now Luther Burden is not a bad shout for the Commanders, but he kind of does what they already have. He kind of does what they already have. Malachi Starks here. You know what? No, because if I don't take him here, the Ravens will take him, and I'm tired of being a masochist. I'm taking him here. Malachi Starks. Screw you, Baltimore. In Baltimore, they could take Shamar Stewart here. They could take still a lot of good players on the board here. Still a lot of good players on the board here. Um, Luther Burden wouldn't be a bad shot either. But again, they have Zay Flowers. I feel like if they're gonna get a wide receiver, it's gonna be somebody who's a different build and skill set, right? Michael Williams is still here though. Oh man, yeah, I'm still a masochist. Okay, I think Luther Burden here makes a lot of. But then again, they got Lad McConkey. Ooh, Luther, you're kind of falling, brother, man. You're kind of falling. Who's still available for edge? You got Shamar Stewart and James Pierce, actually. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get James Pierce for the Chargers. Okay, the Bills. John Campbell's still here. Let's just take John Campbell and just call it a day. I might, although, although, yeah, we talked about it, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna have the Raiders trade up. It's probably gonna cost them. Uh, it's gonna cost them. It might cost them 68 because it's so much. I'm gonna give them 73 and 178. Trade up, and they are gonna take. Uh, do you want Dylan Gabriel? He's kind of small, but he can spin it, bro. He can spin it. Jalen Milroe's a project to me that I don't think they want to deal with. Will Howard, Will Howard at 6'4", 235. We just got Teddy McMillan. We have um Brock Boward. Will Howard might be able to make something shake with that. Or do you go with the upside with Jalen Milroe? I think you gotta go with the upside. You're in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. You gotta go with the upside. So we're gonna go with Jalen Milroe. All right. And the Vikings now. With the Amari and Hampton pick here. I kind of like the Luther Burden thing here. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they don't bring back Sam Darnold. Well, even if they do bring back Sam Darnold, having that third receiver to just make this offense just completely unstoppable, I kind of like that idea. I like that idea. But you know what? As I'm recording this, they just got smacked by the daggone Lions. So they probably are saying we need a corner and we need a corner bad. Jadae Barron makes a lot of sense if you want him to line up against Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay, the Lions. Um, Why was Luther Burden not gonna go in the first round? That can't be right. I mean, yeah, it could happen. It's not totally out of the realm of possibility. The Lions edge here, Princely only out. I hate trying to say Princely. You know who I'm talking. Princely. He's still here. Jack's still here, and JT Tuimoloau are still here. Mike Green's still here. He's been getting a lot of first round buzz. I haven't seen him personally, but I know he's been getting a lot of first round buzz. But I'm gonna go Princely Umayalele, and then for the Giants. Do you also trade up to get a quarterback here? The problem is this class is so bad. No, I don't think you do. I think if you're the Giants, you're regulating yourself to this whole Arch Manning prophecy shit. So we're gonna do that. Okay, Kansas City, do they take a tackle or do they take a Marion Hampton? Or do they take Luther Burden? He's not necessarily what they need. He could be like their possession receiver. He's not like a big target, but he could be like their possession receiver. 5'11", 5'11", 208. You got Hollywood Brown. You got Rasheed Rice as like, and Xavier Worthy as like your gadget guys slash deep threat guys. Luther Burden could be like their possession receiver. They could go tight end too. Uh, Gunnar Helm is still here at tight end. So is Mason Taylor. It's a little too rich. It's between these three right here: Luther Burden, Wyatt Milam, and Amarion Hampton. What makes more sense? Only because this class is loaded at the running back position, I will go ahead and fix the offensive line with Wyatt Milam. So that is the first round of this NFL mock draft regular season edition. The playoffs are about to start. I'm super excited. Not necessarily for my Steelers. Oh, my Steelers. Oh, Lord have mercy. But I'm excited anyway. But you can find me at Never For Brett Me. That's NEVA underscore the number four BRETT underscore ME on all the socials. We are the underscore dope blog on Instagram and Threads, the dope blog all one word on Twitter. Our website is the dope.blog. And because you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces. So y'all can see the pics one more time.